okay, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you? Great. Oh, it looks nice and sunny where you are. It's a bit grey over here.
Oh, is it? Yeah, no, we've got lovely weather.
Oh, it's
So I thought
awful.
I'd take advantage and sit in the garden.
Oh yeah, definitely. I would if I could. It's raining, so I can't. Definitely not for me. Well, thank you very much for being willing to chat to me today and making room.
No worries.
Okay, so I guess I'll just go straight into it then.
Okay.
So obviously, when I was looking at their website and stuff, I found out that you obviously partake in a lot. Well, you did partake in like a lot of sports when you were younger. So I just kind of wanted to know what kind of got you into all that and what started that kind of hobby.
So what, playing sports, you mean?
Yeah, just like in general.
Yeah. I think I had two older brothers who were football mad anyway.
Oh,
And I sort of like grew up with them. I've got a younger sister, but she was very girly girl. But
oh,
I
yeah.
enjoyed playing sports. I enjoyed running, athletics especially. Got very much into football as well. And all sports really in school. So I sort of got exposed to athletics, hockey, rounders, most sports really. I was really lucky where I was, which school I went to, they exposed us to a lot of different variety of sports. I think nowadays that's sort of been taken away. And it's up to the parents to sort of get children into schools and expose them to a variety of sports. But I was quite lucky in school that I was exposed to a variety of sports, but I fell in love with football and athletics. I was a very fast runner, so I sort of really enjoyed the fact that everyone was cheering me on, and that I won races, and I just like, it was something I really felt free doing. So like just that freedom of running, and just I really enjoyed the competitiveness of it. And football, I just enjoyed the winning aspects. I enjoyed the whole atmosphere of it. I enjoyed playing, because then it was playing with the boys, it wasn't even playing with the girls, so it was playing playground football. Football in school wasn't that much. It wasn't a sport offered to the girls as much, but it was playground football, so I enjoyed playing at lunchtime and playtimes and things. And then with my brothers as well, at home. So it was something that I grew up around. It was very much a football family sport.
Oh yeah, see, it seems like a massive part of your life. I would have liked running, but my asthma's been crap since I was a child. I can barely run like across a field without.
I can't run now though. I can't run now. I put on so much weight after kids and everything. I got a bit ill, so no, I can't run now to save my life. But back in the days, I loved it.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like focusing sort of on BEM communities, obviously that's a big part of what you do. Why, like even now, why do you think that people still have those like kind of stigmatic mindsets around like BEM sport in general?
I think especially for the Asian community, there isn't very many role models. There's not many that have made it into professional sports, so they feel like disengaged from it. They feel like it's not something that they will be able to succeed in. It's not a sport sports isn't for them. A lot of them don't think of fitness until it's too late, where it's not a preventative part of life. It's only when they've got ill, they've got some sort of condition, that they have to start taking up fitness regimes or exercises. And I think that mindset is slowly changing with the younger generation. You've got now a whole load of women and boys into football, into different varieties of sports, going to the gym, trying to stay nice and healthy. But that wasn't an option available for sort of my generation and older, I think. So they've always felt a bit disengaged from it. The men not as much, but the women especially. I think the men formed their own communities. If they wanted to do sports, they did it within their own communities. Women didn't have that option.
Right, yeah, no, that makes sense. So you think that BEM communities still face like sort of disparities with that around the sporting world, like considering they don't quite have as much like visible icons and things like that?
Yeah. The clubs also around the areas is still very much white dominated. It's quite, they don't feel like they're welcomed. There's a culture clash. They just don't feel like they belong there. And it's that sense of belonging that makes it important for you to continue going.
You'll be motivated if you kind of feel like an outcast. That would put me right off. Like
if that first experience is not how you want it to be, you'll be turned away. You'll be turned off for good. So that first experience is so important. And if the coaches don't understand your culture or make you feel welcome, then that can be very important as well. So it's important that coaches understand who they're trying to engage with as well.
Yeah, and like the understanding is like so important. You should take time to like appreciate and respect one another for it to like work out and things.
Yeah.
Would you say there's like not enough opportunities in the UK specifically for BEM athletes to engage with sport, or do you think now it's doing a bit better, like with the younger generation, sort of putting it out there?
It's getting better, but I still think there's that disparity between understanding what you can't. It's not one shoe fits all, and I
No.
think that's still the mentality. They expect you to conform to them
Yeah.
rather than you conforming to how they feel and what they're trying to get out of the sport. So a little bit more of understanding about who you're trying to engage with, the community around you, the
Yeah.
people coming into your club. You can't expect everybody to be the same.
No.
Even a white person doesn't all have the same culture. So
No.
the brown person is not all going to be from the same background. They're not going to be all from the same religious background. The black
Yeah.
person is not all going to be from the same religious background or the same cultural background. So understanding and making them feel welcome is so important. And I don't think that coaches have that mentality yet, or the clubs don't understand that at the moment, and
Yeah.
that is where there's a huge gap in trying to engage with those people.
Yeah, it still seems a little bit outdated, and like people just having these old fashioned sort of conformist views, and like
Yeah,
with like it's good that young people like are trying to change that perspective. And I mean, obviously your work tries to challenge that as well.
yeah. And if you look at the way clubs are run, the management committees is still very much a white middle class old committee who are running it. So their views are not necessarily going to change. They're going to think, oh, it's all working perfectly fine. Why rock the boat? Why change anything? So if there's diversity at the top, there'll be diversity running throughout the club.
Yeah.
So they need to understand that too.
Of course, yeah. And like with like the MSA and things, what you're obviously, that's one of like the pillars that you're focusing on encouraging, like and so like your work in general, could you tell me like, why you personally feel like it's so vital now, like more than ever, to do what you do?
Yeah, for MSA, I think what we do is go beyond just participation. We give an opportunity for them to volunteer, so they're growing their skill sets. They've also got the opportunity to go into coaching and get their level 1 badges or level 2s, but depending on how far they want to go. So they're not only becoming participating in a sport that they've never tried before, or they used to love, and coming back into the sport. They've also got the opportunity to then go into coaching and then continue with employment,
Yeah.
not only within MSA, but a lot of them have gone into their schools and they're coaching for PE now, which is not an opportunity they would have had before MSA.
Yeah.
Or they've gone into like a football club and they're doing, so one of our coaches works for Leighton Orient Community Trust. So those opportunities wouldn't have been available if MSA didn't offer that level 1
Yeah,
to them.
of course.
So it goes much more beyond just participating in sports. It's offering them in skills to then go on to get employability as well. So
Yeah.
it's really important that we really understand the community that we're working with as well. So each of our session it works to meet their needs, their cultural needs, their religious needs. So it's a female-only environment. We have female-only coaches. No men are allowed, so they feel that they're completely safe, and it's a free environment for them. And
Yeah.
we've really understood that, and I think that's why MSA has been so successful as well. And we've not just done it on our own. It's all about partnership working. So we've identified partners who understand us and are willing to work with us to engage with the community that we have in this area.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, I think that's like so important, because like religion and like culture is so important to like certain individuals, and to have that included in like the things they enjoy doing and like that respected and promoted is great. And like with people who are part of it that get to go on and coach, it's like spreading a really positive message, which I think is like about how diversity and inclusivity is needed.
Yeah, and it's creating role models for the younger girls as well, because if
Yeah.
they can see someone doing that, they can then aspire to do that as well. So it's not a career that they don't then decide that, oh, it's not for them, because they're seeing someone doing it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if that's something that they want to go into, there's somebody there that they have as a role model.
Mm. And like sort of like looking just at specifically female sports, do you think it's accessible and inclusive enough at the moment? And like if not, what the barriers might be still?
I think it's getting more accessible. I don't think it's inclusive enough at the moment. I still think there's very much white females participating.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's very inclusive. I mean, if you look at the teams, like football team, for the women's football team, it's still not very diverse.
No.
The hockey teams are still not very diverse. The cricket teams are still not very diverse. So there's still that disparity between the communities. So if they're not seeing people who can make it to elite professionalism within sports, then people are going to be put off it. I mean, even if if they don't want to make it to elite professionalism, then even just participating, they may not feel very welcome or included in that club aspect of sports, and that can put you off.
Oh yeah, definitely. So like that representation is clearly like the biggest key thing here for like BEM communities and female communities to get involved, would you say?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Without the work that you're doing, where do you think we'd sort of be? Because I feel like you looking at the site and seeing all the case studies and the work, it's like so much has changed because of the work that you do. So without that, I feel like we would be in a much more closed-minded place.
Yeah, I think for MSA, we've only been established for, is it 5 years now, 6 years now, and we've already achieved so much, and we've been able to, we've sort of put Muslim women on the map in sports, I think, especially for NGBs, because we've made it noticeable that there's a gap in the market. There's not someone who's catering towards getting BAME women involved in sports. So I think it's really important, because what we've done is other clubs have now been established because they've looked at MSA and they've seen, well, if MSA can do it, then so can we. So there's loads of little pop-up clubs that have now been created across the country, that have now catered towards the BAME community, for females especially. So that's just a really good positive that's come out of it. They've created more coaches, more participants, more volunteers in the area. So that's been a really good positive for MSA, not just within the MSA community, but it's filtered out across the country.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Like it's really fantastic to see like this is positive sort of attitudes, like just growing and growing because of what you're doing. And like in terms of like the changes that are still yet to happen, what would you like to sort of see, like in terms of sports governance, like what upholding the values of the MSA, what do you think still needs to definitely happen?
This was a difficult question that I saw and I got a bit stuck on. I don't know, because at the moment I don't think the funders realize how much the help we need, because it's easy just to give us a pot of funding and say, well, this will last you for 6 months or a year, and then you have to sustain yourself. It doesn't work like that, because what we're in those areas where you would say that poverty is quite high, and then you expect them to pay £5-6 to attend the session, because we have to cover our costs, and our paying for a hall is like £35 an hour, £40 an hour. So for us to then pay for a coach and a hall and to cover our costs, and for participants to pay, it doesn't work out for us. So to give funding pots for so small, and then no admin on top of that, they need to start investing in the people who are running these associations and charities, because they're doing good work. They're engaging the community that you are saying are hard to reach. But they're not hard to reach, because they are doing sports. People are engaging with them, but you need to help those people engage further, and help them establish themselves more. So that's something I would love to see, is that NGBs get more involved, give more support to these small community clubs, because that's really, really needed for them to then grow even more.
Definitely, the impact.
They expect everything for free.
No, I know, it's ridiculous that I think it will go in that direction, because like as long as like the impact is so visible, which it clearly is, it's how amazing and helpful it is for the community. Hopefully that will push funding in the right direction. Because it is so important, and they assume that you can just carry it with your own two hands. It's like you need help for this thing to grow. It's totally understandable.
Diversity at board level is also important. I mean, they have the female gender balance now, but diversity, ethnicity diversity is important too, because you can't have everybody in the board thinking the same way.
No.
So I'm a board director at London FA and at British Fencing, and my input is giving them a different insight into engaging with my community. So I will give them a totally different insight and that adds real value to bringing that diversity in the boardroom. And if you don't have that diversity, never change the way you're thinking.
No, hive mindset's never a good thing with that kind of thing. You need to be open to all these different perspectives in order to make the right decisions, because it obviously affects everyone. But I definitely wanted to ask you what advice you would have for a BEM individual looking to get involved with sport, because I know that people harbour a lot of anxieties about fitting in regardless. Yeah,
I think you have to get past your fear and anxiety. Take the first step, take a friend with you, and enjoy the experience.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, it's your health, it's your enjoyment. Find a club that suits you. If that club doesn't suit you, find another club that does suit you, because there are people that out there who are making you feel welcome, who will make an enjoyable experience. It's about finding the right club for you. And if you don't find it, then set your own one up. That's what I did.
Definitely, make it. Just get out and do it, That's great advice, definitely. Thank you so much for chatting to me.
No worries.
But it was fantastic, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, because it looks dead nice, and I'm so jealous. Raining all day. All right then. Well, I'll see you later then. Thank you again.
All right. Thanks for getting in touch.
All right. Bye.
Bye.